Alright guys, welcome back from my new home, which you might recognise, the Lion's Pride Inn in Goldshire. It's quite nice, isn't it? We've got the fire on the go and everything. So what are we doing here today? We are looking at the progression, basically the path of progression from level 60 to basically mapping out what you're going to do, so quite soon after hitting level 70 you're ready to raid. So that's going to include attunements, sort of pre-bisque gear that you can get from certain quests that you're not going to want to miss, as well as me just giving you some other general tips and tricks. So if you watch me over on Twitch, you'll know I'm regularly starting over fresh on TBC servers. So we've just started on Karazhan. I'm raiding already. You know, it's not been too long. This was sort of following my own plan as well, which I'm going to talk you through, obviously, very shortly. If you want to come follow me on Twitch, obviously links down in the description. Come over, give us a follow. You know, obviously I'm streaming pretty much 7 nights a week. Also streaming here on YouTube, obviously. So make sure you like and subscribe the video to get notifications when I'm live as well. And let's just jump straight into it. So I'll pull things on screen and I'll put some gameplay on and stuff like that, but overall, to be fair, there's not much you need to see. This is going to be quite a short video, literally probably 5 minutes, just a quick chat about what I think the best thing to do is while you're leveling and things that you need to take into consideration. The main thing is there's lots of quests that give pre-bis items. I'm not going to sit and list them all because the next video I do is going to be all about quests that you should not miss. So that's going to be a lot more detailed, but there's things like the Damage Mask quest line, which is in Blade's Edge Mountain. It's quite a short quest line, ends with a group quest, but 2-man, you can probably solo it if I'm honest with you. But it gives pretty much every class, every spec, more or less, gets a pre-raid bis neck from this quest. So it's things like that that you shouldn't miss. And there's like multiple trinket quests. So like killing the Torgos, I think it is, the bird in Terrakar, you know, gives a nice hit trinket. There's a nice attack power trinket, which is just basically a worse version of the Badges of Justice trinket, which that's from Neverstorm. It's called Cora Arkalos. Again, I'll put it on screen so you can see exactly what trinkets and that I'm talking about. There's lots of quests that you absolutely don't want to miss. Again, that's probably going to come down to your class and spec. I mean, by all means, check these out. I'll put a link up the top as well and in the description to this series of videos that I've done, which is basically some options when it comes to gearing for every class. There's also a Google Drive with all of the PowerPoints that I put together for those videos. So yeah, check them out. Just find what class you are. I've done one for every spec, every class. Yeah, go and have a look. That'll help you because some of the quest items will be listed on that presentation. So you can then go, right, I need to make sure I do that quest, this quest, the other quest. You know, it sounds fairly straightforward, but you don't realise how much time you're going to save just doing it while you're getting XP. But the main things you want to tee yourself up for is attunements. So obviously you can go and do Grawl, you can go and do Magfaradon without attunements, but you know, to do Karazhan, SSC, TK, you know, we're talking early tiers, you need attunements. So the main ones, the main things you can do to help this is Scenario and Expedition rep. You want to be getting that early, so you want to do all of Zangarmarsh. You want to do the Damage Mask quest chain, like I mentioned earlier, for the neck, but that also gives quite a chunky amount of Scenario and Expedition rep as well. It's about 1,500, I believe, might be even a bit more than that. You want to work on Scenario and Expedition rep. You want to start your Karazhan attunement, so that's just doing the 2 quests outside. I've also got a Karazhan attunement guide on the channel that you can check out if you're not sure. That you want to be doing when you're sort of 69, but the biggest one, which a lot of people miss, is the Cipher of Damnation quest line. Now, the Cipher of Damnation quest line is in Shadowmoon Valley, and it's quite long. So it starts at Gul'dan, and then you go and you kill some elementals, then you kill some more elementals, then you go and see some guy at a farm. Then it splits off into 3 separate chains. So there's some group quests at the end that are quite challenging, but obviously a lot of people who are in the know and know what they're doing to get attuned will probably be doing this at 68, 69 as well, because you don't really want to be going back and doing it at 70. I appreciate at 70 you'll have a flying mount, it might be quicker, but you might as well get the XP as well, you know, at the same time as getting yourself attuned. Then there's very little you can do for the TK attunement, but that you need quite a few different reputations. So the TK attunement is the Cipher of Damnation. I should have probably been a bit clearer there, because once you finish this, you then get sent to Shatraf and you go and speak to a Dao, and you get 3 trials. They're all Trial of the Naru, but one's called Mercy, which requires you to do a timed Shattered Halls run. So Shattered Halls is quite a challenging dungeon. This is particularly challenging on Heroic, and this is what you've got to do the quest on. So all of the trials are for Heroic dungeons. So now you've got to think, so you need Thralmar or on our old rep at Revered to be able to get the key to be able to do Heroic. So this will dictate, you know, you're going to want to stick around in Hellfire Peninsula and get all the quests done. because you're going to want that rep. And then you're going to probably be smashing some Shattered Halls runs when you ding 70 to start getting towards Revered to get the key to then be able to do the time run. So the time run basically is you've got some prisoners that get executed, and you need to save them. It's really easy. You don't even need to save them all. You just need to save one. So it's not too challenging. But again, you need to bear in mind that you're going to need Revered with them. Then you're also going to need Revered with Scenario and Expedition, which you would have already done. So the reason I say about Scenario and Expedition is because the quest for SSC is inside it. So you need to get Revered, you need to go in Heroic Slave Pens, has to be Heroic, and then you get a quest to kill Nightbane, which is a summonable boss in Karazhan, and you need to kill Gruul. So ideally, your guild wants to be set up to a point where you've got 25 people all on that quest the first time you kill Gruul. Because obviously you don't want to just be constantly going backwards and forwards, taking 4 people at a time, getting them attuned, all that, You want the guild needs to communicate and know that the first time you kill Gruul, everybody needs to be on that quest. Or the vast majority, at least, wants to be on that quest. So that's for your SSC attunement. But the reason I'm talking about Scenario and Expedition when it comes to the TK attunement is because you need to do Steam Vaults on Heroic. So you need to kill the last boss in Steam Vaults Heroic, which is obviously... You need Revered with Scenario and Expedition to be able to get in. So that's the next trial. That's the Trial of Strength. So the Trial of Strength needs you to do Shadow Labs Heroic, so kill Murmur. So now that's another reputation you need at Revered, Lower City. Basically, you need Revered with all the main factions. The only one you don't actually need Revered with... I was halfway through talking and a fan got delivered. Anyway... We was at Trial of Strength, weren't we? So yeah, you need to kill Murmur in Shadow Labs, and you need to kill Warlord Califresh, or whatever his name is, in Steam Vaults Heroic. And then the last trial needs you to go and do Arcatraz Heroic and save Millhouse Manastorm, or whatever his name is. So basically you need to go and kill the last boss. Now you need Shattar as well, Revered. So it's going to be quite a lot of dungeon farming. Obviously that goes without saying, but this is why I'm saying you need to try and make it as easy on yourself as possible when you're leveling, to get the focus on the reputations that you're going to need. Because I've been 70 on Karazhan now for probably a week, and I'm only Revered with two factions. Admittedly, I've not really had that much time because of raiding and working and everything else, but it is going to be quite time consuming. So you really want to focus your energies on, let's say Botanica or Arcatraz or one of those gives you some really good upgrades. Obviously, just go over there and just keep smashing the dungeons till you get all the upgrades you need. You might get really lucky and get them on your first run, which, alright, it's lucky and unlucky. But if you're gunning for a piece of gear while spamming the rep, it don't feel as bad, you know what I mean? So what I'm saying is, it's just going to be important, to get reputation, to get the pre-bis items along the way. This is all just about speed. You don't want to be the one who's running around trying to get Karazhan attuned, the night before you're going to raid, or you're meant to be raiding. Because for the Karazhan attunement, just really briefly, it's a couple of quests outside Karazhan. Go to Dalaran, up in Arathi Highlands, or Alterac Mountains, whatever it's called. Then go back to Adao, and then it's some dungeons. So it's only normal dungeons, so you need to do Shadow Labs, you need to do... Steam Vaults, Arcatraz, and then finally BM. But obviously to do BM, you need to have done Old Hillsbrad. So, even that, if you want to save some time and you want to get XP along the way at the same time, go over to Caverns of Time at sort of 66, 67, do an Old Hillsbrad foothills. There's some quests involved. You've got the escort outside, which will give you XP. So now when you're 70 and you're doing your Karazhan attunement, you can straight away just get into BM, without messing about. That would be another recommendation for me personally, as I say, unless you're proper speed running. If you're just speed leveling, you're like, I'm not stopping for anything, I don't care, I'll do it all at 70, then obviously that's a different story. But this is what I would consider an efficient way of both leveling and being ready when you're 70, to get in raids as soon as possible. So just real brief recap just on those points. So you need Revered with Scenario and Expedition first, really, because you need to be able to get into Heroic Slave Pens to get the quest to start for SSC. So Scenario and Expedition, number 1. Then really, Shattar, Lower City, and Fralmar / Honor Hold, whether you're Horde or Alliance. They're what you need to get done quick. You want to just get those reputations done, focus on the gear that you want from those dungeons, and don't worry about anything else. I wouldn't even be bothered about going into Heroics. Alright, there's better gear in Heroics, but get the reputations done first, because, Scenario and Expedition, for example, unless you're a Druid, there's a couple of good items, nice healing offhand as well, but, a Druid will probably just smash straight to Exalted with Scenario and Expedition, unlock Heroics, do all 3 every day, spam Steam Vaults. that's fine if there's that, if there's the small exceptions like a druid who really wants exalted with Cenarian Expedition as soon as possible, but really you want to hit revered, move on, next place, revered, move on, just keep doing that, then start doing your heroics to get exalted, because again, you don't want to be benched because you're not attuned to TK or SSC. So it needs to be a primary focus. One other thing that I'll mention, which is quite a big deal. If you're not speed running, like I said, then keeping your professions upgraded along the way. So whether you're going skinning, level working, or if you're going 2 crafting professions, it's going to be a little bit more difficult because you're going to have to wait till the market starts getting flooded with ore or herbs or whatever you're going to need. But yeah, keeping your professions up to date as you go along will be a massive benefit, because not only are you going to be able to make yourself stuff while you're leveling that's going to be useful, because crafted gear in TBC is useful, you're going to then very quickly, once you start doing these heroics for your attunements and you get primal nevers, well, you can even get primal nevers from the normals end bosses as well, a small chance, only if they're the 70 dungeons like Shadow Labs, Alcatraz, etc. You'll be able to make yourself some BIS gear as well, pre-raid, well, not even pre-raid BIS, it's probably like tier 4 BIS. Most of the crafted gear is absolutely solid, so keeping your professions up to date is another thing that you really want to be doing. Now, I appreciate this video not overly structured, if you know what I mean. It is just my thoughts. I just wanted to let you know how I plan to tackle when WoW Classic becomes WoW Classic TBC, how I'm going to tackle this and be ready to raid as soon as physically possible. If you've got any questions, put them in the comments. And as I say, if you like this, give it a like, subscribe, come over and check me out on Twitch, ScottyJ87. And I'll see you on the next one, which we're going to look at what quests you should not miss.
Oh my god, I heard him. He's upstairs.